Hi, this is Joe Bolen. I'm going to show you how to enter in and begin to use ManyCam version 8. So I'm going to come down to my start window, and I happen to have it already set in my pinned area. So I click on it and it begins to launch and it starts up. Now right now I have it set in the particular setting of the light theme. Let's take a look at the different settings we can have here. One, we can have how our text runs. Here's our dark mode. A lot of people like this. And so there's our dark mode. I sometimes find it a little easier to see in the dark mode. You also have your account area, your subscription area. And as it stands now, you have to buy a 1 or 2 year subscription to unlock all the features. At this point in time, I have a premium 2-year license, and I'll be using that. The lifetime is not for version 8. It's for the previous version. So if you want to stay with the older version and you have a lifetime, that's an option. Now, rumor has it that they may give you a upgrade of 1 year to the license on that. So we'll have to see if that turns out. We have our snapshot location where we save things, and we also have where we put our recordings. Also, we have some of our defaults here in the recordings. I choose MP4 for my format, and I use the hardware encoder of my NVIDIA graphics card to do things. Now the bitrate I'm leaving on and letting ManyCam choose the bitrate setting, and I do want to have the high quality possibilities on the preset. Under video, once again, I've set this up. I do not have a 4K camera, but I do have a nice webcam that gives me my 1080p 30 frames per second type on that, and so I've chosen that to be my default settings in ManyCam. Now I also have a couple other things we can set, and I've set those accordingly. The audio I'm going to block out with noise suppression, and I'm using my Blue Yeti microphone as a feedback to the instead of coming out of the speakers. So those are some of the settings. Network, I don't have anything set there, nor gaming. Desktop area, you can have a couple things. Capturing the cursor, how you want things to look. So I've set those as well. Now in terms of doing streaming, I have a couple of them that I have. Here we see the default settings on this, and I've got that set for low latency, high performance. I do have a good internet connection. That does help and make things different. Now there are some other things you can put in here. For example, here's a YouTube schedule. This way I can go out to YouTube and schedule an event and then have it go live, versus going live immediately, which is the default if you're going to go with that. So these are the settings I have, and let's take a look now at going into the actual ManyCam. Here on the screen you see that I have a number of presets because I have the premium version, and it also has my microphone, which gives me a good feedback on that. I've also included some sounds so that anything that my system produces will be picked up. That is also why I've turned off the speaker and using the Blue Yeti for my speaker on that, so I don't get double input. Then I have my little happy mandolin music that I use as my theme music. It's sort of fun and enjoyable on that. Now we're going to look at screen 1, which is up. This is preset 1 that I have set, and we can go there either by a cut or transition. And right now I'm in it, and we can come up and I can set the time on there. I've already introduced the type of time I want for this one. This is actually a text, and we can have effects in there as well. In this case, I've got the theater stage curtain showing, and I've got my background Bolen Presents in there. So if I wanted to turn off the curtain, I could do that, or bring it back to make it look a little bit more entertaining. Now let's go to that time setting on the side, and you'll see if I click on the time over here and I change the time, I can reset it, and then I can start the countdown on that. Also, I can change colors and types of timers, stopwatches or clock, but I choose the intro to have a start down in case it's a scheduled event, especially, so that if people come in early, they can get ready to watch it and they'll know it's coming on in a few seconds. So I can hit this, and then it'll start the countdown timer on that. As you see, 3, 2, 1. And then I could transition over quickly to the plain one, which is just this without the timer information. And I've got set up for preset 3 a split screen, and I usually say, hey, hi, hello there, as we come into preset 3. This is just a simple 3-layered layout. The background of my general radiant blue background. Then I bring over my title screen as one layer on top of that, and then my camera with my background chroma key set with also the same blue background. So that gives a nice transition before we go into my main camera setting, which is right here. Now you see I have my text in here. I've inserted the text, and you'll see it over here. And we can also come up to the text and add new text if we wanted to. For example, I'll click on the text here, create a box, and say, hi there. Like that. We can change the colors if we want. Maybe we might make it white on that. So I'll go white, and we'll change the background under it to black. So we get white for the text color, and the background will leave as transparent. We can change the font size by coming over here, and let's go up to 24 point, and we can change that, move it around, put it wherever we want, and we can come over here and turn it on and off by blinking on it and unblinking it, or if I don't really need it, I can just trash can it. So we have that nice ability to do things with our activities. And I can bring in some effects that are that I've chosen. For example, I can bring up subscribe and the smiley icon and say, hey, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. It'll help in the algorithm to select this for your future viewing. And so I can turn that on and off with a little eye on the side. Once again, in the effects, I can choose over here and do the same thing. I could take out the one, and first of all, I got to turn the effects on, and I can then control each individual one as I need to on that. So there's an idea of using the effects. And to get to effects and add new ones, we just come up here to this area, and then we can search on all kinds of effects. And you can see here, for example, face mask is the one I like, sort of. We've got all different kinds of face masks, including the Donald, and I'll show you the Donald. Here is my background with Mar-a-Lago and the Donald. You know, whatever you want to say. Okay, let's go back to where I was. Let's get rid of that one effect area, and I'll just shut it off. And then we have, for me, the closing screen, which is my copyright screen, created in PowerPoint, and then captured and then brought in for closing. This is where I'll bring back in my happy mandolin music to go with it. Now, if I want a little bit more personalized at-home look, I can bring up my picture that I have of my living room. Also, I could bring up a video and you can see the clock going back and forth, but I chose to use a still for this particular one. And once again, this is creating a preset for that type of purpose. Then we have one that I love, Crazy Joe. Crazy. On that simple mask, if I come over here to effects, you'll see that I have the glasses here and turn on and off. And I also have the crazy emoji that I can turn on and off. We can add other things to it as well, but this is my simple Crazy Joe. And of course you see the text that I've chosen, Crazy Joe down here, is also in a Comic Sans for this to make it a little bit different than straight text. So these are all kinds of things you can do. Then I have also one that I use for emergencies. If I have to be called away for a little bit in a live stream, I can hit just a moment. I'll be back and you'll see my little clock graphics spin around real fast on that. Then one I like is my one that I created. This is a multi-layered preset where I have a solid color of yellow for the base layer. Then I put my camera over here and made it square, and then I can set within that, as I go to the camera here, I can change the radius on that, so you can see I can change that, make it more like a vignette or whatever, but I'm going to make it rounded, and that allows me, and also I can change the zoom of that camera to fill in like that. Now over here we can put in another camera on that by right-clicking and selecting another input source. For example, if I have a Skype call, I would use the NDI input and pull that person's image into this location. But just to show you a little bit of fun, I'm going to draw a picture on there with the pencil, and I'm going to pick, let's pick a bright color for this one, and we'll just create a couple eyes on that, a smile on that, and there we go on that. Maybe we'll change the color of the hair to green or something like that, and we can have a little bit of hair there on that. So we can bring in a picture or my phantom drawing. Now we can quickly clean that out with the erase, or I can hit the can here to wipe that drawing out, and I'm back to where I started from. So this is something you can create and do easy and set up. Different colors, perhaps a blue and orange kind of scenario, or other color combinations that work out really well. Now the last one I have is my preset 9, and this is, in this case, the screen, and you'll see it fade in. But if I come up now to my overlay mode and click on that overlay button at the top of the screen, I'll come back to my desktop, and you'll see over at the side I've got the panel that shows things, and you can see me click on other things in here on that. For example, if you want to see my messy icons, I can come over here to view and show desktop icons, and you can see how messy things are. But I don't normally show that, so I come back, turn off that view to not show those icons, keep my desktop clean for presentation. And as we move around, for example, as I were to come back out, I know that my preset that I have is right now at 9, and my main screen is at 4. So I'd probably transition over to main screen 4 before I leave the overlay and make a clean transition back into the regular ManyCam interface. The last thing I'd like to bring up is that we can turn on drawing, and we have a whiteboard we can turn on. Without the whiteboard, I have all the features I'd have normally without being in the overlay mode. And just to show you a couple of them here, I'm going to hit the stamp, and let's put in a bit of hearts. And I'm going to zip around with some hearts. And we'll also put in some stars, because we are also famous. And you'll love us and I'll be famous, and then I could put something else in if I wanted to. We also have the text box, and I can change the font size and colors to that. I have also the pen that I can set up with different stroking on that. But what I'd like to do is show you the whiteboard. I'm going to click that on. Now, you're not limited to this size. In fact, normally I take this whiteboard and I start to bring it over to the side and stretch it out. That gives me a lot more real estate to do things. And now I can draw on this whiteboard. For example, if I do this and this and this, and you know where I'm going with that, we can do all kinds of things. So we can do that. Also, I can save the whiteboard information if I wish on that. So I can save it to a file, bring it back if I have one I've already created. Also, I can change the opacity and bring back in the desktop that's showing behind there if I want. So the whiteboard is a real nice feature in the overlay mode. Now I'll turn that off. In fact, I'll just delete the screen back, turn it back off. And I'm also going to delete everything you see here. So I'll just hit delete there. And I'm going to do the Alt-4 to go to my main screen, my main preset. And I've done that. And then I come over to my area that I'm working with in the overlay mode area, and come back to the regular screen, and it's back to there. So you've seen a little idea of how I use it. And of course, we have to end up with my happy mandolin music. So let's turn that on. And there you go, it's coming in. And I'm going to go to the copyright and say goodbye and enjoy ManyCam version 8.